Hey everyone, welcome back to Collecting Nolan. This is Russ, and today is another Sensational Set Sunday. And today we'll be talking about the All-Star Game inserts. So let's go ahead and get started. So I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but Nolan was actually elected to play in 8 All-Star Games, with the first one being in 1972. That one was in Atlanta, Georgia. And he actually didn't play in that one. He was there, but they didn't use him. So, and these program inserts really didn't become a thing until like the 80s, with 1981 being the first year of them. So his All-Star games of the 70s didn't have any of the, there was no insert cards within the programs from what I can tell, based off of the limited research that I've done. But, so his first All-Star game was the first year he was with the Angels, which was 1972. But like I said before, he wasn't used in that one. And then in 1973, he was also again elected to play in the All-Star game. And for that one, he pitched in the 6th and 7th innings, where he gave up a 2-run home run to Willie Davis after striking out Willie Stargell and walking Ron Santo. And also in the 7th inning, he gave up a double to Bobby Bonds, and then he struck out Ted Simmons to end the 7th inning. But after the 7th inning, he left the game, and he left the game with like a 9.0 ERA, and the American League lost 7-1. So it wasn't just all him, but he really didn't have a great game there. 2 years later, in 1975, again, Nolan was again elected to play in the All-Star game, but again, he didn't even pitch in that game. And the National League won 6-3. And then in 1977, that's the year that lives in infamy for Nolan, because that was the year he declined to play in the All-Star game. So I guess the story is that Billy Martin, who was the manager of the New York Yankees at the time, he originally didn't pick Ryan as an All-Star, on his team. But right before the All-Star break, I guess he had 2 or so injuries to pitchers, including Mark Fidrich, and I forget who the other guy was that got injured, but he needed a pitcher to help him out, and he added Nolan to the roster then, but then Nolan refused to play, and I guess that formed a rift between Martin and Nolan Ryan, but that's pretty common these days for players to decline playing in games. Maybe not in that situation, but, for other different types of purposes, because 1, they don't feel like playing, 2, they're injured, or, it would be not enough rest in between starts for a pitcher or something like that. But back then, I guess it was more of a problem. But so in 1977, he didn't play in that All-Star game. And then in 1979, he started that game, and that game didn't go too well. He struck out Davey Lopes and Dave Parker to start off the game, but then he walked Steve Garvey, and then Mike Schmidt hit a triple off of him. And then after that, George Foster doubled to bring in Mike Schmidt to make it a 2-0 game. And then the next batter was Dave Winfield, which lined out, so I got him out of the first inning. But in the second, he ended up walking Bob Boone, and then Larry Boa fouled out, and then Lou Brock and Davey Lopes singled, and then Dave Parker had a sacrifice fly after that to bring in, I guess, Lou Brock, and then Steve Garvey fouled out. So by the time then the second inning was over, it was already 3-0, and all earned runs were there. All the runs scored were earned. So he left the game with I think a 13.50 ERA. So again, not so great there. And the National League, ended up winning that game like 7-6. He did not appear in another All-Star game until 1981, and that's also when the cards started. So 1981, he only pitched in the 8th inning, but he struck out Tony Armas. And the National League, the team that he was playing for, since he was now with the Astros, won that game finally. So in 81, they did have card inserts for the programs, and here is the 1981 card here. Let me see. So that's Nolan in his rainbow uniform there. Love those orange hats on that. I think that's sweet. And on the back, it shows that the game was in Cleveland with the Indian up there. And it just gives some stats and stuff like that and some facts. So 1981, he had an all-star game. So this is what I don't understand. And I can't find any like real good information on it. I'm only deducing what I was able to put together from what I've been able to find. So in 1983, he also had a program insert from the all-star game, but he didn't play in the all-star game, and they don't count 1983 as one of the times that he was elected to the all-star game. So I don't really know why he would be in it. I don't know why his picture would be in the program. Now, when I did find a picture of the program, it did have this picture in the program as being a nominee, an all-star nominee, but it didn't count towards his number of all-star games. So if anybody understands what is happening here, please let me know, because I am not 100% sure about how this works as far as all-star games and being nominated versus playing versus counting towards your all-star game performances. So very weird. But on the back, so 1983 was the 50th anniversary of the all-star game, and that was in Chicago, Illinois that year. So that's Nolan's 1983 all-star game insert card. And again, was he even at this game? There was, like, I saw a ticket on eBay, a ticket for this game, and Nolan Ryan signed it, but I don't even know if he was there. So it's just, and I was only 2 at the time of the 1983 All-Star Game, so I don't know too much about it. So it's just kind of weird, and the same thing kind of happened in 1984. Like in '84, he wasn't in the All-Star Game. At least it doesn't count towards him appearing. But he had an insert, a program insert for the 1984 All-Star Game. So again, I don't really know what's going on here. And this one's kind of miscut on the back, but on the front, it's really pretty centered. So I think it's like a print thing. So the years that counted towards Nolan being in the All-Star Game were 1972, 1973, 1975, and 1977, in which he refused to play in. So that one still counted. In 1972, they didn't use him. In 1977 and 75, they didn't use him, but they still counted. And then 1979 is the one that he started in. 1981, he did pitch in the 8th inning that we already talked about. So those make sense. So sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I'm just kind of confused, and I just wanted to bring it up to anybody out there who remembers this time, or can explain this to me. So 72, 73, 75, 77, 79, 81, 85, and then 89 was his last. So they say he was an 8-time nomination, but it doesn't explain the 2 program inserts. So I just don't understand what's going on. That's the bottom line, and it's probably all my fault. But I can't find anything on the internet. It's like these things. There's no explanation as to why he's in there. I guess he was nominated, but why doesn't that count towards his, him being towards his total number of All-Star games? It's kind of strange. Okay. Anyway, fast forward to 1985. And 1985, He actually did play in that one. He pitched in the 4th and 5th innings, and he was able to strike out Jim Rice and Ricky Henderson, and he gave up 2 hits and 2 walks. But the National League, who he was playing for, won that year. So I have this one, which is the same front as the 1984 game, but then on the back it's different. It says 1985 All-Star Game. So this one counts towards the totals. And then the final card, which I don't have yet, I just actually picked it up on eBay before I made this video. So it hasn't come yet, but it was 1989 when he was with the Rangers. And that one, he actually pitched to the 2nd and 3rd inning. And I'll show a picture of that somewhere, probably up here or up there, wherever eBay, wherever YouTube or my video editing software allows me to put it. But in 1989, he struck out Benito Santiago, Will Clark, and Kevin Mitchell, and he actually got the credit for the win in that game as the American League won 5-3. So again, guys, these pop up, and they're on. Of course, they're on the PSA set registry, but I don't know if no one really talks about them, and I think they're kind of cool. Like I especially like the 1981 there. I think that's the best one. But they're just a different type of card, and I like showing different types of cards on the Sensational Set Sunday, just because it's not your typical Topps, Donruss, Fleer, that kind of stuff. But if anybody knows about what's the deal with the 83 and the 84 insert cards in the program, why he's even in there, please let me know, because I am kind of at a loss, and I couldn't find anything to explain it. So, am I just not thinking right here? That could be the case, because it is kind of late on a Sunday. So, that's all I really have for you. So, please let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you guys again for watching. And I'll see you at the next one. Thanks. Bye.